reacting. So if your 1 second. Okay, so if you look here on the lines, you will realize one thing is even here the lines are very well reacting to the price on the long-term basis, right? Look at this touch here, and then the price like pumps so hard on the above side, right? Even here, as soon as it breaks, it waits for nothing. It just pumps all the way up. Look here, it touches this line. This is the whole capitulation or accumulation phase, and then it pumps so hard that it's kind of unimaginable that it will go so high, right? So on this side, it's still not there yet, and that's why I was saying that as far as this line is concerned on the XRP BTC, it can possibly break this level and go down. So if it goes down here, I should expect the XRP USD to go down to the next level as well. That's why you just look at these different confluences and different values and see how things look like, right? And this is where the resistance zone is. And what does resistance means is to have those big prices, right? Have those big prices, the price needs to cross this level that you see here. So it needs to go like this, up. Once it's above this level, happily, I know that the price can go anywhere high. Like the sky is the limit then, right? Because every time the price has pumped from this zone, it has gone really high. You can make good real money, right? So simple, technical analysis can make you money, right? But if you learn it the right way, if you don't learn it the right way, there are good traders who are going to take all your money and run away, right? All right. The next is Dogecoin. Someone has told to chart Dogecoin. This chart, again, one more thing to understand is Ripple, XRP, and Dogecoin are not coins that I would ever recommend to anybody. But if you're a casino player and you want to just like try your money in your luck, then go for it. But just to quickly look at this again, same thing. The baselines are existing. It's right at support right now. I'm assuming that it is going to go up from here, but who knows? I mean, if it behaves something like this section that exists here, this one, if it behaves like this, then the price is going to go down from here, right? So you will have to watch for this line to what exactly it tries to do and see how that goes from there, right? Again, everything else looks very similar to what XRP is, because all this Dogecoin, XLM, they all follow the XRP movements. Dogecoin dollar movements, same thing, right? Here I've just done some more patterns for you to see how it looks like. So this whole zone, you look at this. This is called the same rising wedge. This whole greens, that rectangles I have done, is where the accumulation is happening on the wealthy traders. They're accumulating it, pumping it, and then the red zone that you're seeing is distribution. If you see, this is a rising wedge, like at least a rising wedge to a rectangle sign. This is a dropping wedge with a rectangle sign, which exactly says that this was a completely manipulated stock where buying happened, pumped the price, and then they threw it on all this, people who want to be millionaires overnight, right? That's exactly what has happened. Constantly, repeatedly. Look at this thing. It comes down, reacts to this line, again accumulation happens, pumps, reacts to this line, accumulation happens, and again the same thing, accumulation, distribution, the same exact pattern. There's just no difference at all. Look at this dropping wedges. The price moves out. Like if I expand more, you will be able to see this, but this is not something that has to do anything with the Dogecoin, but you will see this on stocks like Amazon, Tesla, everywhere. These starting principles are no different. Look at how this price went up, tried to hit the line, didn't break through, later on it break through, and then stayed above it, and then the price pumped, right? Same thing here. Look, the dropping wedge, constant going down, sudden breaks and goes out of that wedge to a good amount of height. Look at this one, another wedge, right? A rising wedge and constant and goes through it, which means that it continued into a running wedge and breaks through, stays price up there, and hopefully that it will continue to go upwards from there, right? So that was Dogecoin. The next one is this one. This one is what Ethereum. A lot of people had a question about Ethereum as well. So I will show you in the technical analysis how you can also draw some other lines and so I've drawn some lines on different charts so that you can see what it means. The horizontal line distributions remain the same style. There's no difference whatsoever. It's the same exact thing. But notice here there are some lines here, like the trade price continuing to support those lines, and then the price heavily drops after that. Isn't that funny? But this is not funny because this is actually a charting principle as well. That the price tends to continue to take support on a diagonal line, and it supports the price movement, right? And then it drops from that wedge right away. Okay, and look at this, how beautiful it looks. It does that here, drops heavily, does the same thing, drops heavily, does the same thing again, drops, up, drops, constant. See, this is how predictable it is. My goodness, I mean, if you can read these lines, you can make money, at least some. I'm not saying put whatever money you have in your life, never do that. Only invest 1% of your total capital. That's pretty much of what you need. There is nothing more than that you need. If you can convert that 1% into 2%, which only means that you're doing the right things. So start with a $10 or $100 thing, or say $200 thing, and see how things look like. But look at this. This is so pretty darn easy to predict. Constant movements with the same exact pattern for a whole year. It started from around say Jan Feb of 2018. Almost it continued the same exact movements, right, until the end of the whole year, literally. So you could have constantly made money on this whole situation by itself. Again, the price continues to do the same thing even at the bottom, the same lines, the same drops. And then once it starts making higher lows, and higher lows means those rounds that I had drawn earlier, the price then continues to go up. And then again the same wedges that I've drawn here, just so you can see what it looks like. On the left also there are some other speed post flags that I had drawn, and what the speed post flags are, these are symmetrical triangles. And what does symmetrical triangle say is, when the price movement is on the up move and a symmetrical triangle then happens, like in this particular case, I'm going to expand it further so you can see. The price movement is up, right? The price is comfortably making higher lows, right? It constantly keeps going up, and a speed post like this happens, which only means that the price is going to continue going upwards, right? That's what it means. Now, in this particular case on the top, you might be saying, hey, the price went up. Why did the price go down in this case, right? So notice that in this particular speed post, the big candle is the red candle. That's where the lines are starting from. So it's technically a symmetrical pattern with chances that it can do a breaking downwards. Now notice every candle inside that line is trying to break through down. Nothing is trying to touch upwards, not wanting to go up at all. And then the price ends dropping, which is okay. But you drew a line, and then once it broke down this line, you know that you have to sell it here. You don't have to wait, right? Or worst case, you at least know that you can sell somewhere here, right? So one full day or 2 days of waiting and you can sell it. It's not a big deal, right? But if you follow news, then God bless you, because in the news they're going to tell you that from here the price is going to go up, and you're going to go buy and then hold the coin for a long time to come. Anyways, so the speed post happens here as well with the up move, right? And notice here the speed post is made with the green candle as well, and then sorry, the red candle, not the green candle, I'm sorry, but same exact design, right? Look at the behavior pattern differences. So here is the red candle, the first candle where the line starts from, and look at here also, it's the red candle where the lines are concentrated starting from. But look at the price difference. It's trying to push on the top and tries to drop, but you still see that this particular triangle is at least telling you that the price will drop or go up as soon as these lines are broken. So you know where the price movement is going to happen next. You can predict things easily as opposed to guessing, right? And once the price then started to pump from this blue horizontal line, it took support here, which means that the speed post will now convert into moving upwards. It exactly did the same thing. The price waited here at the same exact level where the candles inside the speed post were, and then pumped all the way up, right? And then you can see the speed post on several spots. Honestly, you can see it all over the place. Everywhere the speed post constantly showed up, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a matter of what, 6 months. So every month you were able to see one speed post, which only means that you know that it's going to go up. And speed post I mean by symmetrical triangles. All right, so that's another example of different lines that you can draw here, right? Now the next chart is Ethereum, Bitcoin. So don't get scared with this diagram. This is nothing but different than the pitchfork here that you see. And what I'm trying to do with that is draw a pitchfork. So it tells me what is the channel, right? So notice this red line that I have drawn, right? So that is a similar channel to how the Bitcoin long-term channel was showing, which I showed you in the earlier chat, probably here, right? Was it here? So many charts, it's easy to forget. Okay, that was on the other window, right? Ignore that one, just go back to this chart. So this channel you see, right? So same thing, and then the pitchfork confirms that my lines are right, okay? And then the pitchfork also confirms that there are levels inside, right? Look at this center red line, and this is not my hand-drawn line in the center. It's the pitchfork line by itself. So notice how this line is going upwards, right? And the price is reacting every single time, taking support or resistance on that line. It actually tells you upfront that don't play with this line. Be very careful with these lines, right? And the price reacts. Even the green line here that you see in the center, right? Everything. So anyways, so this whole pitchfork or the channel that you're seeing, which is a up move channel, right? Here, this, and then I'm going to do another one. You see the movement is straight up, right? And it's constantly going for how long? From almost like say beginning of 2016, almost until August of 18. The first time August of 18, it broke a support that it had used and maintained for almost 2.5 years, right? From 16 to mid 2018, which means that this is a dangerous drop from here. You need to be extremely careful dealing right here. So back then, I remember I was trading Ether Bitcoin, and I was looking at this chart at that time as well, because remember, these charts are really old charts, and I'm using it still because it works perfectly. It helps me trade and look at the long-term situation going on. I was actually stuck at right this spot. And this is really honest. I mean, I was right at this spot and I was thinking that this will pump because this lower channel never existed back then. So I thought that this is the base and it's going to pump. But I was careful. I was wanting to see what is going to happen here. And I was monitoring this on a daily basis. And the moment this price behaved to drop, I still waited after the red line. I still waited. Why? Because the pitchfork blue line is still down. And if you see very carefully, right? If you see very carefully, you see the candle is switching from one candle to the other candle. So this candle finished the price right at the line, and the new candle starts right from the price, which only means that for 2 days, the line has reacted very easily on the candles, which means that yes, this line is right. So as soon as it finished, it finished this second candle also right around here. This whole candle I didn't want it to ride. I was very, very uncomfortable. Continue to hold the price right here. So I got rid of the Ether Bitcoin stand that I had on that particular day and left it. And then I said, okay, let me see how this new pitchfork and the new channel looks like. So I drew a new pitchfork channel. And since then, look at this. The start point is say December of 17, right? And this pitchfork continues to hold true. It's April of 2020. In another 6 months, this pitchfork will prove me true for 3 years. I had to do nothing. This pitchfork just stays inside it happily. So as many times the price comes down to this green line or the purple line or red line, whatever you call, it is going to react to go upwards. So I know I have to put a buy here and wait for the price to go on the lines above and sell it back there. So it's not that hard, you know. This drawing lines is not that difficult if you get it right. I hope this actually helps, because this is a change of channel right there. This is a different charting style, and I wanted you guys to see it. So I hope this is helpful for you people. The next chart is Litecoin. Now, this particular chart is also, hold on, before I go to that, this chart, notice that it's a combination of diagonal lines and the pitchfork, right? Every chart was a combination of different line patterns. And I'm showing you all these line patterns because these are all basic, simple, easy to notice stuff. I have not actually gone into any of this, literally, nothing. Only one I showed was the head and shoulders pattern, and because that was an easy one, it's not that difficult. So, this one was a diagonal line with the pitchfork. This one is horizontal line patterns, right, with the pitchfork, and then the rising lines to see what the price patterns looks like. So you can have combination of whatever line diagrams that you want to draw. It's totally your personal choice. So you have to draw the lines, wait, see how it looks like, change it, make a decision, decide, learn, things like that. And then you have to read through the charting line principles too. Not like just draw any lines what you want, because then you don't know if they're really wrong versus not. So educate yourself. On this particular thing, look at this channel. It started from 2015 bottom, right? And this channel has proved itself from whatever you call almost till 2020, right? Mid 2020. This channel has stayed as is. Now, someone might be saying, hey man, it's going to stay, right? The bottom price is 1.18, big deal, $1. And it went to what? 362 as the top price, right? In my groups, there is still history, right? There are people who had said beyond $80, right? Litecoin will go up heavily. There are many people who had ride this whole wave from 80 to 400, literally. Okay, and the people who are more greedy than that continue to hold it even when it came down to $20, because these people wanted this 80 to become 800 at even the price of 400. So you are so greedy that from 80 to 400 is not enough for you, right? And then blame the stock, blame the price, blame that it is all manipulated and everything, blame whatever you want, but it doesn't help. You just proved yourself that you're as full as possible. Why? Because you went from 80 to 400. You did not want to sell. People like us pulled it off. We didn't care. We'll throw it off and wait. The price proved it within 6 months to a year that it came back to a bottom price, and whatever you call that. But many people kept holding and then paid the price for it. So coming back here, see the same line that you can see that you saw before is continue to hold, and then once it breaks, it continues to go heavily down, right? So just another charting principle. Horizontal lines here, you see that the horizontal resistance is reacting every single time, right? Look at here, it reacts right away. As soon as it touches, it wants to react. Look here, touches, reacts. So that proves that in this particular chart, a combination of diagonals, horizontal lines, and pitchforks, everything is working as you want, right? The same thing was with Ethereum chart as well. You can draw lines and see if it works. If it works, then you know these levels you don't want to mess up with, right? Now someone might have question, hey man, this is like a 6-month chart or a 1-year chart. How do I deal with daily charts, right? So simple, you expand even further, you go inside the chart, and then you look for lines here. Look here. Right now, I can see right here that there is a reaction, right? So if I had to draw a line right here, I will just draw it for now, just for the purposes of showing an example. And then see, the price clearly reacts on daily basis. This is not a big deal. You can do it. And then you can change this from 1 day to 4 hours or 1 hour and deal with it even easily, right? Like even make it smaller and or more detailed, go inside the granular levels and draw the same lines and do whatever you need to. So it's not that hard. But again, I'm not saying that you're going to learn this tomorrow morning. Okay, so be very careful of listening this word that it's easy. Yes, it is easy, but you will not learn tomorrow morning. You will take a lot of homework, a lot of studies and whatever you need to do with it to learn it. And it will take some years to get some strength around it. All right, coming to this chart. So this is the Litecoin Bitcoin chart. This is the Litecoin US dollar chart. So in the Bitcoin chart, also, there is also a very great confluence. And what is that? Is look at this. What the hell is this? So there are horizontal lines. I don't want to keep talking about the same levels again and again 100 times. But look at this. Every time the price made a top, 100% top, meaning now there is nothing. It's going to go down and heavily down. Every time it did somewhat close to a double top, right? And that was every time within either a couple of weeks or a couple of months. That's it, nothing more than that. So price dropped from here heavily, went back, made a top, came down. Now think about it this way. If you're a trader, right, and you see a same pattern, if you're not a trader, I'm sorry, a technical chart analyst, and you see a same pattern happening here, I would sell my price, man, here. I would sell it. I will not hold it, because this is a repeating pattern. It's telling me that the price will behave bad from here. And then even if I don't realize that, and the price comes very close to the blue line, it drops, and then look, it reacts. It tries to go, now it's resistance. It cannot continue to hold value above this price. So it's dropping. It's simple. It's not that hard. And then the price comes back up all the way here, you know. So say, for example, you missed a chance here, right? Almost what, 8-10 months later, the price gave you a chance here, and then it started dropping. It's okay. You are still dumb, and you still continue to hold the stock. It falls down heavily, and it goes back up. You still don't want to sell it here. You still don't, because you think the price is going to continue to go up. And what happens is it reacts. So this is the third time the same exact pattern has repeated, and you failed to sell it, and then blame the stock for it, right? So look again, same thing this year. Same thing happened, double top, same thing, see? And then reacted again heavily. So how many times the chart has to tell you that the price is bad, and now you cannot continue to hold this because this is going to go down? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, right? So blame yourself for following those fake gurus online or on WhatsApp or paid groups, whatever you call that, and your CNBC people. No one in the world wants to make money for you. You have to make your own money yourself, right? Okay, going back to another screen. I'm going to go this one. And then, yep. So this one, we have done. Oh, this was the channel I was talking about in Ethereum, right? Same channel like Bitcoin. See, similar channel, right? So if I had to get a pitchfork kind of style done, I would just do this, right? And then I would do here, try to draw this, and then see how the channel looks like, right? So there is some adjustment needed, but look exactly how the lines are. I don't have to do anything. It does a great job by itself. So my lines are already there, and this pitchfork is just confirming what I've done is right. Right? So anyways, so you see how easy is that? Next is, so I'm done with all the crypto charts, I believe, right? We have covered almost everything. Now the next 2 charts based on the survey goes is, we want to look at S&P 500 and Dow Jones, right? So this is a very great chart. This was one of the charts that I shared in the WhatsApp group. This exact screenshot, exact looking stuff, right? And if you're telling me that you didn't understand this chart, I don't know how to explain you, man. And why? Because look, there are comments on it. It tells what exactly it means. And I've given this session very easily. I explained it. Try to read and understand what this whole thing means, right? So look at here, this blue line. This line exists since 1.5 years, kind of, right? Over 1.5 years actually. And what it's doing is, every time the price coming anywhere contact to it, it's reacting right away. Oh, it just moved. So it's reacting right away. See those circles, right? See how it says price reacted wildly every single time it interacted. Look how many times it has to react, right? And then recently in March and February, what happened? The price came back to this line. It tried to find support. It didn't. It broke through heavily down, goes down super fast, and then does a rising wedge pattern to go upwards, and then tries to react with this line again. At the same time, it's doing a bearish divergence. Look, the price is going up, the volume is dropping heavily, right? So this is a bearish diversion. This is a rising wedge. In a drop, life cycle. So it's bearish by itself. And it's reacting with a line that is true for the last 1.5 to 2 years, that the price reacts heavily. Now, the only question here is, what is going to do? Look at this wedge also, right? This is the S&P 500. Look at this wedge. It dropped out of the wedge right here. And this chart was shared in the groups over 2 weeks back, or 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks back at least. Somewhere when the price was somewhere here, okay? This chart was shared back then. So since then, it has been respecting this rising wedge. And then it drops out of the rising wedge. And the price continues to try to bombard the baseline of the rising wedge, continues to try to push for it, right? So, and it's right now at horizontal confluence. It's trying to take support here and see if it can go further. But remember, in this particular case, there is one entity which no charting principles can predict, and that is the Fed government's unlimited buying. And the Fed government is technically printing money out of nowhere. Okay, it's all just a balloon, and it's I can't really say if it's fake money, but it's not something that I'm happy to see on a chart at all. So if the price goes up, thank the Fed. But if it goes down, which only means the Fed is stopping the buying completely because it is done. Remember one thing: Fed has so much unlimited buying powers that it can literally hold the whole market, even if everyone exits. Literally, a 24 trillion market can be owned alone by the Fed, and they won't care. So if this is all about elections and whatever the unlimited printing of money is concerned, then probably this charting will not help here, because whatever the signs it comes, it keeps going up because the Fed buys unlimited, pretty much. So when you're in front of unlimited money buyer, you have no standing chance at all, right? But the point is, look at the chart. Look at the chart, how nicely it tells you everything, right? So it tells you whatever you need to understand about the chart, right? Again, people can start breaking down this to a monthly and weekly and daily or even hourly patterns and try to trade the smaller pricing levels. But for now, I hope this kind of helps you understand what it is. Now, one more thing, right? So I think many of you people might be remembering the 2018 December, I think, fall, right? That's right here, the Christmas fall, when it dropped from a good 2800 to a bottom of 2341. The line was responsible for it, if you remember. Okay, so this line is something that closely watch. And right now, if I read it correctly, all CNBC and everyone is saying that the price is going to fall from here. So if I take them not that seriously, the price will pump from here. Okay. But this is a complete assumption, opinion, has nothing to do with what you have to do. Do your own due diligence, do your own research. Do not believe on anybody outside to manage your money. It's your money, it's your problem, not anyone else's. Now let's go to Dow Jones quickly. In Dow Jones, there is a different charting pattern that I'm using because the earlier charts that I've made on the S&P 500 is not helping here. And what that means is the charting principle on Dow Jones right now, like if I see the levels, I need to use different lines and patterns to make sense out of it. So I'm going to expand a little so you can see what it is. Look at this. This is the December 2018 fall, right? Very similar. If you draw a horizontal line here, the price has reacted every single time here, right? Same as S&P. But this is my buy area or sell area. So as soon as I'm down here and it's reacting, I will sell here and wait for a bottom buy to happen, go back up, sell there, right? So and if the price goes above it, I will try to buy there and ride the cycle. So that's what I'm telling you, that drawing one single thin line like this is not required. You can create a range there, the same way the range has been created here, and trade as per that. So if you see here on the S&P, on the Dow Jones, you can see that these are different resistance levels. And when the price dropped from the top, right, notice that this green area holded the candle really well. It actually holded another day, whole day it traded inside this whole rectangle itself. It tried and went up, but didn't sustain, came back inside the rectangle. And then the price dropped from that rectangle. The next rectangle came into picture, right? It pushed the price up right? And then I think the next day the S&P, sorry, the Dow Jones opened at a huge price difference from what it closed earlier, and then this candle, and look at this lines everywhere it has reacted as you would expect. This green area look converted into resistance because it is below, so it's resistance now. Red candle trying to push through it, and then the green candle stands up and goes through it happily, right? All these lines that you see on the left are again coming from, so the blue lines are coming from all resistance areas. Look here, this is resistance, the green is all support. When the trend changed, right? Look at this red candle and the trend changed. Look at this green candle, the trend changed, right? Look at these trends. So all these areas are for that, the trend change lines. That tells me that this is the price where if it had to drop heavily, will come and hold. In my groups, I was very easily able to predict that the price bottom could be anywhere between 18,000 to 18,600, and that's because of these two lines. Look at this 18,500. If anybody is in the group, you can easily tell that yes, this price were shared and were told even before it touched these areas. So this is what the reaction is. Where is the next support? Big support, right? The next big support stands anywhere around this level, which is 15,999. So anywhere around say 15,500 to 16,000 zone, right? But I hope that it never happens, and the market recovers from here. But that said, you can literally predict things easily, not always, but at many times, right? Depending on your trading capital size. Like if I'm trading with $200, probably it will take say 5 years for me to reach $10,000, but I still made my 200 into 10,000. But some people having a big capital can make money sooner, but you also have to understand that you can lose the money even faster. So be very careful with what you do, right? So I hope this whole technical session has helped everybody, and to learn and understand how the lines are and how the levels react. Hopefully we'll open up for questions now. Chris, Kishore, if you have questions, or I will open my chat window as well.
Yeah, so one of the questions, Bhavik, what is the best resource for learning technical analysis?
So I would say Google is your best friend always. You can always just do, just search like this, technical analysis. I also do myself, and there is no shame in doing that. And you can do something like cheat sheets, because there is always cheat sheets. But the problem with this sheets is that you need to know what these patterns are and the rules behind it, because just by reading this pattern doesn't help you that well. So look at this pattern. So we talked about this, right? So if you look here, you will realize that this asymmetrical flag I spoke about already, right? This is the head and shoulders. See the left shoulder, the middle head, the right shoulder. So it's not that difficult. You will find things easily, right? You just have to Google, and once you see the head and shoulders pattern, then what you do is you just say head and head shoulders TA pattern rules, right? And you will find something, right? See here, it very clearly explains in the Investopedia page that what this whole pattern means and what the volume should look like, and everything they will explain it, right? Look at this whole pattern. See how it tells what exactly it needs to be, how it should look like, things like that. It should tell you, and it should also say things like what are the limitations, what it means, what it doesn't mean. What one thing you all have to also understand is technical analysis is all about figuring out possibilities of what? Possibilities of probabilities that are going to happen in the stock market by itself. So the probabilities of the price moving up, down, or sideways, right? Sideways is also another way. People think it only goes up or it only goes down. No, it also moves sideways. So sideways is something like, like from left to right in a horizontal move, and it doesn't do anything other than that. So that's called sideways movement, and the price only does up and down. No, there is sideways movement, and what these lines actually help you predict is it possible that the price is going to go in one direction versus the other, more chances, and those possibilities help you decide what your next trade is going to be. Okay, so I think this is easy to learn. It's not that difficult. Any other questions?
Yeah, there are questions like, can Bhavik dive into chart for Boeing?
Boeing,
Yeah.
we can try. Go open this window itself. Trading view. And then Boeing. Um, is there a particular ticker that you're looking for, or this one is fine?
Yeah, that is fine.
So we'll go take a look at this one, what it is. I hate this trading view many times. Okay, so looking at this chart, this does look like it's creating some post here. I'm just checking. So if you look here, what I'm looking for is what the trend pricing actually means in this particular case, right? So the price is reacting from this level, this red zone. Look at that. It's a very clear support coming from the 130 zone, right, which it broke happily and tried to reclaim later on. And then what it's trying to do here is trying to create a speed post, saying a symmetrical triangle. But exactly, it's not a symmetrical triangle, and it's trying to form something like similar, but it's trying to put pressure on the lower line. But with tomorrow's candle, you will see if it goes beyond this line happily, there are high chances that it will move on the upper side. But if it breaks on the downside, I would wait, because you know why? Because in stock markets, one thing I've very very closely seen is when you see this kind of gaps here, you see these heavy gaps, right? These gaps tend to fill, and and if you see this pump here, it's exactly in this gap here. See, this gap's getting filled. This is the gap, and it's trying to fill. So it does happen in the stock market very often that it tries to fill the gaps. Okay, and that's because of the futures and options and short and all that callings. That is a discussion for some other time, but I hope this makes sense as far as the diagram goes. But if detailed deep down needed, I would have to sit with it and look what it is. But one thing is very clear here is when the price is actually coming down here in this section, the volume continues to drop down as well, which only means that the sellers are not that strongly selling this stock right now, and there is no divergence. It's actually doing what it's supposed to do. So that said, um, I hope this helps you understand what's going on with the stock.
Yeah. What would be the long-term price for BTC in 5 years based on charts?
Um, Based on charts, so let's go look at the channels, right? So let me put it this way very clearly, right? So if you see my screen right now, as many times the price has gone down, it has made a U-turn and constantly gone up, right? In this case, I want this price to somehow come back inside this channel, honestly. And if it comes back into this channel and it continues doing what it's doing right here, probably it will go some movement like this, and somewhere around 2022, 23, the price should reach on the top of this channel, which should be anywhere around $50,000 to $100,000, depending on how long it takes to come back inside the channel and how long it keeps moving. So I will continue to watch this long-term channel, but at the same time, I will also make a low, like a downgoing channel to see if this breaks through that channel and comes back to the existing one, and then take the prediction from there on. But that said, the point is the price can go up from here for sure. It can go, like, look at this 170, right? So even if I'm coming to this red line on the top and it's in May 21, it still has a huge potential to go up, and it can go up anywhere. But at the same time, there will be people out there who are going to predict that, saying that if this channel is down, it can go down all the way to zero, Yeah, possible, because Bitcoin is known for doing all that. The amount of drops it does, I've not seen that in stock market at all. But yes, recently I did in oil. Look at this: 20,000 at the top, the bottom is 3,000. Look here, 1,000 on the top, $200 on the bottom. So if you are okay to deal with this kind of stress, you know, more than happy to deal with Bitcoin. I'm okay with it because I look at the charts and I don't care. So I'm happy to deal with this kind of pricing. But again, to your question, yes, the top of the channel is where I should be looking for the price to move for the next 5 years. And next 5 years is long because this is 2020, and by 2025, right, or say mid 2025, look at this line, how high it can go, as high as you can see on the right side. So that's what it is. And even if it flattens out, it will be still stay around 50,000 to 80,000, depending on what those lines get created.
So there is another call starting in 5 minutes, Bhavik.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah, already you took more than 2.5 hours of your time.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, we can do maybe one more session after one question and answers.
Yeah, sure. And people are asking for the WhatsApp group link, Kishore.
Yeah.
And
so I posted a webinar group. You can join there, and then I will share Bhavik's WhatsApp groups where I can add you all.
And is there a power in combining traditional stock analysis such as PE, stock valuation, and trend analysis? You can. I mean, it depends on how your trading style is. That's the question has been asked in the chat. Kishore, I will quickly answer a couple of questions quickly and wrap up in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can combine if the combination works for your drawing principles, and if the price reacts and behaves the way you expect it to behave, then yeah, there is no problem. There is no set rule on paper that this is the only way you can draw a line. That's pretty much what it means. So there is no set rule that this line has to go like this only. But if the line is reacting with the future price that's happening, you know the lines are right. You know what you need to do. Simple, right? And then there was another question is, can you show example how to draw a pitchfork, right? And then can you give your take? I'm not going to do Amazon right now because we are short on time, because I will draw the whole thing all over again. What do you think about BTC halving? I think BTC halving right now has no price change on it. I think the price is already inside the chart right now, and the whole global stock market situation is going to make it difficult for crypto to go up like that blindly. So right now BTC is actually following S&P 500. If you look at both charts and add compare ticker here, you will see that the both prices on Bitcoin and S&P are actually following the exact same path since March 23rd. Okay, so take a look at that chart. And then how to draw a pitchfork, right? So you click here, you see this like Shiva's threshold kind of thing, and then what you do is you click in the center. Okay, you click on the bottom, you click on the top, right? And then this is not looking right. So what you do is click on the center and then move left and right, up or down, whatever, right? And see if it looks right. Sometimes the pitchfork looks right, it is not right, depending on how the details are, but at least it gives you a background picture of what it is. And what other question was there? That's it. I think that pretty much sums up to what we have. Thank you everyone for attending the session, and handing over back to Kishore.
Yeah, thank you, Bhavik. Thanks once again. And all the members can join to the webinar group, and I will post Bhavik's groups there, and also you can know about future sessions. Thanks everyone, and have a nice rest of the evening. Thank you, Bhavik, for your time.
Thank you everybody. Thanks for attending.
Bye everyone.